Sana. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا محمد وآله الطاهرين. اللهم صل على محمد وآله. واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الآن إلى قيام يوم الدين. أما بعد، السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. We have a scholar in history by the name Sheikh Al-Ansari, rahmatullah alayhi. He's one of those unique personalities. If I can summarize his contribution in the Hausa, it is said that if the Hausa was progressing one step at a time, after the coming of Sheikh Al-Ansari, Murtada Ansari, it is said that the Hausa developed a move forward by 100 steps. That was his contribution. I'll narrate a story about this man, and inshallah we will build on why this man became what he became. It is said that he was living in Iran. He's Iranian originally, that's cool. And he traveled to different places in Iran, for example, to Kashan, to Mashhad, to Tehran, and finally he ended up in Najaf, and he's buried in Najaf. When he was in the Hausa in Tehran, he had a roommate, a fellow student. So one day he told his friend, his student, his fellow mate, that can you please, I'm giving you some money, take this money, go out there and buy some bread. So the student and the friend, the roommate, took the money and went to buy bread. When he came back, that student brought with him the bread, but on top of the bread he had put mithai, sweet meat, and he offered it to Sheikh Ansari. Sheikh Ansari asked the person, I gave you the money for the bread. Where did you get the money for the sweet meat, for the mithai? Here, the answer that he gives him, the student gives him, was not something that was making Sheikh Ansari happy. Now, what was the answer And to appreciate why Sheikh Ansari said so, let's build upon it with this hadith. We have a hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salatu wasalam. Recite the salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One of his companions, strong companion, asked him that Malladhi yuthabbitul imana fil abd. What is that thing that strengthens and solidifies iman in a servant of Allah? What is it that makes your iman stronger? It's trying to show that iman, I may say I'm a mu'min, but it does not mean that my iman is like a yes or no. It's like, for example, I say, is this halal or haram? It's not like that. Iman is not like yes or no. Iman is levels. Like light. Light is also dim light, strong light, and the brightest light. Iman is levels. So Imam alayhi salam says, قال الذي يثبته فيه, the one that makes it more solidified, stronger in a person, in the abd, is al-wara, is piety. Inshallah we'll talk about this. Taqwa. And the one, وَالَّذِي يُخْرِجُهُ مِنْ, the one that removes that iman from a person, from a servant, is at-tama. Tama is to desire for something. Now we'll try to find out why is tama and desire a bad thing. What is the reason that Imam says desire brings your iman lower? But before we begin, this is a very interesting hadith. In this hadith, the people in the chain of narration, the one who have narrated the hadith from the Imam, the first person who has narrated from the Imam is a good person. But the people above him, up to Sheikh Saduq and his teachers, those people are very doubtful. In fact, one of them is an Ash'ari. It is said that he was the one who used to mix sometimes hadith, right and wrong hadith. So now this hadith becomes problematic. How do you accept this hadith that is doubtful narrators? The content is good. So do you accept this hadith or not? This goes to show you the scholars do not always rely on the narrators. Who are they narrating? There are other ways you can also verify if a hadith is correct. So let's try to compare this hadith with what our Aql says, what the Quran says, and other hadith says. Do they corroborate and do they establish that, yeah, this is a true principle that the Imam is saying? So the question is, what is wara? And in the hadith you will find out that taqwa and wara, they usually used in the same, sometimes the same way. Taqwa, as we know, is to do your wajib, to avoid your haram. Is to sometimes even do your mustahab and avoid makruh. You have been told pray salah, wajib, you do it, taqwa, you have taqwa. You are told avoid, for example, ghiba, because it's haram, so you avoid ghiba. Sometimes you are told that pray namaz, yes, wajib, but pray it on time, earliest as you can, mustahab. A person who is a muttaqi, has taqwa, will pray on time. And someone, for example, is told, don't overeat. If you were to ask the ulama, for example, Sayyid Sistani, Hafidahullah, he says that overeating, or even eating up to your full, is makruh. Would a person with taqwa, with piety, eat to the level that his stomach is full, or overeat? No. But a person who overeats, does it mean he doesn't have taqwa? Yes, taqwa, but maybe not that maximum level of taqwa. But taqwa means to do your wajib, to avoid your haram, to do mustahab, to avoid the makruh. So what is wara? Our scholars of akhlaq have divided and said taqwa is this level and wara is higher. What is wara? Wara means you are a bit extra careful. Wherever you are even doubtful that something might be haram, you avoid it. Where you are doubtful that something might be wajib, you do it. For example, you go to a sitting and you see the people over there and the time, for example, it's baraza time at 12 o'clock, you have an outing. It's not haram if I don't know they are doing ghibah. I can sit there. But this person with taqwa, wara, will say, no, I will avoid this conversation, this meeting, because there is a possibility I will fall into haram. Doubtful situation. He goes to a restaurant and he says that over here, I don't know if the person who is cooking has touched the food or not, and I don't know, and he's a Hindu. Fatwa says you can eat the food because you don't know if he touched it with najis hands. This person is extra careful. He does not go to that restaurant to eat. Out of what? Wara. Tries to stay away from doubtful things. That is taqwa, and that is wara, being extra careful. Recite the salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So that's wara and taqwa. Question is, how does wara help your iman? Let's look at aql. Is it possible, very simple logic, and then we'll just move forward. Is it possible a person who desires something haram will have iman? Obviously not. If tama means you are wishing to do something and wanting something that's haram, that's the tama that the Imam al-Islam is talking about. Not tama, not a desire for something good, desire for something evil, which might lead you to evil. Can a person who desires for evil actually have iman in his heart? No. So tama cannot lead to iman. If a person is staying away from, for example, haram acts, will that make his iman stronger or weaker? Obviously, aql tells you to make it stronger. So according to us, aql says yes. Being careful of your duty will make your iman higher. If you want everything, if you want the love of the dunya, in Jamil Sadat, Agai Naraki, Rahmatullah alayhi, he mentions the different qualities, the bad qualities. One of them he says is tama. It is desire or greed or avarice, they call it. Greedy for some things. Whereby you love the dunya so much that you want it. That you see somebody else, for example, has a good car, I wish I have that car also. Love of the dunya, which takes you away from Allah. If I want these worldly things that distract me from Allah, will it increase my iman or decrease my iman? Obvious answer is, it will decrease your iman. Your iman towards Allah will decrease because you are now wanting those lowly desires, those things that are not beneficial to you. If that is the case now, so now we know by aql that that is possible. Let's look at the Quran. What is this definition of tama in the Quran? This is also a good tafsir of this verse. This verse is talking to the wives of the Prophet. Allah is talking to the wives of the Prophet. What does it say over there? If you permit me. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Ya Nisa Nabi. Allah is talking to the wives of the Prophet. He does not say, oh wives. He says, wives of the Prophet. Because now I'm talking to you not as a normal woman. I'm talking to you because you are the wife of the Prophet. You have to do something higher. لَسْتُنَّ كَأَحَدٍ مِّنَ النِّسَاءِ. You are not like the other women. You are different. You are special because you are the wives of the Prophet. What does Allah say? Now if you are special, you have to do something that normal women would not think about. Something higher, wara probably. إِنِ اتَّقَيْتُنَّ فَلَا تَخْضَعْنَ بِالْقَوْلِ. If you really have taqwa, or wives of the Prophet, when you are speaking, do not make your voices soft. What do you mean making your voices soft? It means that do not speak in a way that is like attractive. Some people, some women might be speaking in a way that the other person is listening, he might get some feelings. Allah continues. فَيَطْمَعَ الَّذِي فِي قَلْبِهِ مَرَضٌ. If a person who has a disease in his heart, he doesn't have taqwa, is a regular person, he has some disease, he has some problem. When he hears your soft voice, he will get that tama, he will get that desire to do good things, no, to do evil things. So don't soften your voice that others get distracted and get the evil intentions. If you want to have taqwa, then you need to stay away from desires. The desires will take you to haram. So, sin and iman do not go together. Inviting yourself, putting yourself in a doubtful situation, talking softly, is it haram by itself? It's not haram by itself. If a woman is talking softly to another woman, is it haram? It's not haram. So there is no haram halal here. This hadith is not talking only about halal and haram. It's talking about iman. You have iman. How do you make your iman stronger? How do you become Sheikh Murtaza Ansari? What is there? Look at this hadith now from Imam Ali alayhi salatu wasalam. Recite the salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. He said, La yajtami'u al-wara wal-tama. Wara and tama do not go together. You can't say I am a pious person, but I also have a lot of desires. It's not possible. Imam Ali alayhi salam saying. You can't say I am very careful of my duty to Allah, but I also like some haram things here and there. It doesn't go together. Wara and tama does not go together. So Aql tells us this hadith is correct. The Quran tells us this hadith is correct, and also other hadiths confirm this. Now this is the part that probably will put all the things together and we'll figure out why Ayatollah Ansari became Ayatollah Ansari. Allah Majlisi, Rahmatullah alayhi, says there are 4 levels of wara, 4 levels of taqwa, 4 levels where you can say I'm a pious person. Number 1 is the one where a person is avoiding haram. For example, you are told that there is a non-Muslim restaurant and they are serving fish over there. Fish that has no scales. Halal or haram? Haram, you avoid it. That is the first level of wara. He calls it wara at-ta'biri. You know it, you follow it. Avoid the haram. Second level now. This is something that even we can practice. This is the wara of the righteous people, salihin. What does it mean? He's saying you avoid the doubtful things so that you do not accidentally fall into haram. Let's take the example of the restaurant. You eat fish from a non-Muslim restaurant or from a Muslim restaurant in a country where you don't know. Sometimes the fish is halal, sometimes the fish is haram. Sometimes the fish has scales, sometimes it doesn't have scales. Is it even possible? Yes, it's possible. We have one of our scholars. He went to Dubai restaurant, one of the restaurants, Muslim restaurant in Dubai, and he asked for some fish. And fish, of course, fish with scales are allowed. When he asked for the fish, then he was a bit doubtful, so he went to check. He went to ask the restaurant owner, what kind of fish are you serving? I mean, you should not doubt about fish. The restaurant owner said, we are serving a certain kind of fish, and he found out that fish does not have scales. That means the fish was haram. How is it possible, a Muslim restaurant serving fish without scales? It's because there are Sunni. According to Sunni, you can eat fish without scales. He could have ate over there, Muslim person, Muslim country, so-called, fish. No, but he was careful, he asked. Wara of the second level means you are doubtful, you still avoid it. You could eat it, but you avoid it. That is the second level. Third level, muttaqeen's wara, the people who are pious. What is their wara? Now this is now very possibly difficult for me and you to do. What is it? It is to abstain for even halal so that you are protected completely from haram. It is halal for you. You know it's halal for you. Still you avoid halal. Because why? You don't want to end up in haram. For example, how? Eating at non-Muslim restaurant itself. You go to a restaurant, what are you ordering? Oh, here, vegetables. Oh, vegetables. Vegetables, there's no meat, so you don't need to confirm whether it's halal, haram. But this is a Muslim restaurant, this is a non-Muslim restaurant. I don't know if I should eat at a non-Muslim restaurant. You never know, something might have gone wrong. Even avoiding halal because you doubt that you might fall into haram. That is the third level. I don't think everyone can do that. And the fourth level, which is probably the one that is left for probably the 313 of the Imam alayhi salam. Fourth level of the Sadiqeen, of the Imams alayhi salam. What is it? Is to avoid everything that is useless. Why do you need to go to a restaurant to eat in the first place? Is it not a waste of time if you have other important duties to do? Fourth level of taqwa, of wara. This is what our ulamas used to do. One of our ayatullahs, it might have been Ayatollah Bahjat, one of the ayatullahs, he used to have one specific person he used to go to buy bread from. Why one specific person to buy bread from? Because he was sure that this person does not do milawat and does not mix his halal and haram. Very careful. In fact, once it is said that when Ayatollah went to buy bread from the respected person whom he knew it was halal, and he came back and he felt some negative effect. For example, he could not do his mustab or wajib properly. He went to ask the baker, said, yes, something went wrong, that's why you felt the effect. One of spiritual masters, he was in the hospital, and my teacher went to visit him. He was a student of his. He went to visit him, and there was a person, and he used to bring chai and serve the teacher chai, the spiritual master chai, and he used to drink the chai, no problem. He was laughing, jolly. One day, as he went to the hospital, the student, my teacher, he saw that there was a person who was distributing sweets, shirini they call it, distributing sweets because a baby was born in his family. So my teacher went to the person, he took the shirini, he took the sweets, and he went to his teacher, the spiritual master, and he offered him the sweets. The spiritual master said, where is this sweet from? Where did you get it from? He said, there was a person who was distributing sweets over there. He said, you eat yourself, don't give me to eat. A person like me, if he eats from that sweet, I don't feel the effect. But this spiritual master knows when he eats that sweet, he doesn't know it's halal, haram. He's doubtful, he avoids it. Not to get the negative effect of eating doubtful or possibly haram food. That is the fourth maximum level, whereby you even avoid the useless stuff, the unnecessary stuff, so that you don't lose your duty in your life. Recite the salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. So now we saw these four levels of taqwa. We saw that to have too much desire can lead you to haram. Let's go back to the story of Sheikh Ansari. What was the problem? Why did Sheikh Ansari become unhappy with the student who brought bread on top of which was shirini and sweet and mitai? That student, when he went to buy stuff, he also took a loan, and he bought the sweets and he gave it to his Sheikh Ansari. Sheikh Ansari is telling him, how do you know that tomorrow you will be alive to give back the loan? Is it haram to take a loan? No. Is it haram to eat food that you have bought from a debt and loan? No. So Sheikh Ansari, why are you not eating? Because I am afraid. What if I don't stay alive tomorrow? Extra level of taqwa. Avoid even a situation when you might do haram. This is a situation. Now let's go a few years in the future. Ayatollah Sheikh Murtada Ansari, rahmatullah alayhi, he becomes a marja and the leader of the House of Najaf until today. So this student comes and meets him and he tells him that you have become a marja. Why is it that Allah made you a marja and not me? What is your secret? He says, because mitai. You ate the mitai and I didn't eat the mitai. Sheikh Ansari only ate the bread around the mitai. He did not eat the mitai with the bread. He said, I was doubtful about it. I didn't know if I will survive in the future. If you want to become a marja, it's not about knowledge, learning, and that's what keeps your iman high. It's not like the more I learn, the more the iman will grow higher. No, that's not true. You need learning and you need wara, you need taqwa. That is where your iman will grow. That is why Imam Ali alayhi salam tells his governor who went to a banquet, an invitation where people are eating, the rich people are eating, and he tells him, why did you eat in that banquet, in that invitation, that da'wah? Why did you eat over there? They are rich people. You shouldn't be there. It's doubtful the food over there of the rich people. He's saying, eat only from that morsel that you are sure is halal. Avoid the morsel that you are unsure, you are doubtful is haram. He's saying, I know, Imam Ali alayhi salam said, I am a person who only takes 2 pieces of clothes and 2 pieces of bread as my sustenance, risk. 2 pieces of clothes, 2 pieces of bread. He's saying, but I know you cannot do it. You are my governor, but you cannot do this. You cannot have that level of wara and taqwa. What should you do? 4 things. You should have wara, ijtihad, iffa, and sadad. One of the 4 characteristics is wara. Try your best as much as possible to avoid doubtful things. And that is why Sheikh Ansari, where is he buried? He's buried at the gate to enter the haram of Imam Ali alayhi salam. He's buried at the feet of Imam Ali alayhi salam, in the Babul Qibla. If you want to become Sheikh Ansari, if I want to become Sheikh Ansari, I don't have to only stay away from halal, haram, do mustab, avoid makruh. I have to even try my best as I can to avoid doubtful places, doubtful things, doubtful actions. May Allah give us the tawfiq to reach a level in which we can practice what Imam Ali alayhi salam wants from us, to increase our iman and to become the mu'mineen of Amirul Mu'mineen alayhi salatu wassalam. Wa sallallahu ala Muhammad wa ali tayyibin at-tahirin. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.